Hey there, honey bunnies. Welcome to episode 139 of the Sovereign Storytellers podcast with your host, Michelle Wolf. Oh, it's been a while, hasn't it? Oh my goodness. I tell you what, uh, life has been quite busy. And that's part of what I want to talk to you about is why it's been busy and uh, what that means for me and for you. Although I am committed to the podcast, so it is on my list to try and figure out some kind of some kind of schedule. Um, but today's episode is the title is "I'm an Imposter." Now, there's a previous episode about imposter syndrome. Uh, Unfortunately, I can't remember what the number is, but it's in the title. The word imposter is in the title. So one of my and it doesn't go away. Like imposter syndrome, when you branch out and you grow and you start to do other things, imposter syndrome's, you know, it's just like a fungus. You think you've gotten rid of it, and the next thing you know, you're having to deal with it again. Like, I don't know that it ever goes completely away. And honestly, I think that's okay. Because I think I worry more about people who don't have imposter syndrome, who are so cocky that why should I worry about it? I'm all the shit, Like those are the people who concern me a lot. I don't think you should worry about having imposter syndrome, and I don't think it's something to get rid of, because I do think it keeps us humble. Like we should always be sort of, sorry about the background noise. I'll settle down here in a minute. We should always be checking ourselves, in my opinion. Like that's something that we should keep doing. Is just making sure that our ego is not getting out of hand and not thinking we know everything. And when I was in graduate school, they said the most dangerous therapists were the ones who thought they knew it all and quit going to conferences and quit doing continuing ed. And that's true. Like, it's a dangerous thing for you to think, I went through this program, or had this much success, and now I don't need to learn anymore. That's a scary, scary thing. That leads to madness and arrogance and all of that. So don't worry about if you have this imposter syndrome, and also get the fuck over it, because people need your work. All right. So the reason I'm bringing that up is because I've been having that lately with the money course. So the Train Your Body to Wealth is a course I've run. It's an expanded version of the 10 Minutes to More Money course that I used to run. I ran that one several times over a couple of years. It was all on Voxer, and it used the one command for wealth. You can find out more about that tool if you just Google it. It's Asara Lovejoy is the one who brought that out. So I got a certification in that, so I've run a bunch of little classes. Well, I got the bright idea earlier this year to expand on that. And because I'd had some money breakthroughs, and y'all know, if it's your first time listening, maybe you don't know, but you can listen to previous episodes. Money's been a thing for me. It's been the portal for my greatest healing, and it's been ongoing. And in 2018, I really made a solid commitment to figure out this money thing. Come hell or high water, I was going to figure it out. Well, hell and high water have come, and I'll say I figured more out. I don't know that I have enough time left in this life to figure it all out, but I've I've had a bunch of breakthroughs. So anyway, that course is done really well. And for me, really well is 15 or so paying signups, enrollments. For other people, that's in the hundreds. I don't even know how to fathom having 100 people sign up for a course. Like, I just don't get it. How does that happen? And the way I do my courses are, they're by hand, they're person by person, they're high touch. And so I don't even think I have the capacity for 100 people. So the last class had over 30 people in it, but some of those were um, gifts. So, and this course already has 15 people in it, and they're all paid. And more than half of them are repeats from the January course. If you're interested, hop over on my Facebook page. I've been posting about it relentlessly. I may have lost some friends over it, but that's okay because I'm kind of on a mission. And that's what has triggered the imposter syndrome. So I do a lot of things. Forest Reiki, human design, quantum human design, copywriting for hippies and other magical folk who, have a hard time finding words for their stuff. What else do I do? I'm a marketing manager. I do SEO. Been studying SEO now for, oh gosh, a year and a half. A year and a half? Man, that's a wild and woolly place to hang out, the SEO place. So there's that. And then Forest Reiki, right? Which I've never gotten traction with. I also have always gone back and forth about promoting it, not promoting it. It hasn't grown. Randomly, people will find it. It changes their life. But then, it doesn't grow from there. I've never been able to figure that one out either. And that's okay. Like, I don't really know. There's a lot of waiting involved in that. When I've consulted with other people, there's just this sense of timing. The timing isn't quite right. So that's fine. So, contemplating this year for 3 months now, and actually I started in December, like, what the hell am I going to do? Like, oh, the psychic medium stuff. Hello, channeling from being the gang. Forget about it. It's a laundry list. Like, what do I do with that? So I took a full-time job, which I love and have no intention of leaving. That means I have to make some different decisions. And those different decisions involve laying everything out and pruning away something. And the only thing I've been able to manage to prune away so far is the Solution Salon, which was a twice-a-month group. So that has closed. But that's not... that's like a drop in the bucket, right? Like, yes, that's an energetic take back, get some energy back from not doing it. But I enjoyed doing it, so I also kind of didn't want to let it go. I don't want to let any of them go. Lots of multi-potentialite people struggle with this. But then this money thing, right? It's do I want to grow it? I've got a lot more marketing knowledge under my belt than I used to have, and I actually know the mechanics that fit with the right words and the right time and all the things. So I know that this course could really grow. And then that's when I stumbled onto imposter syndrome. Like, who am I? Like, my business has barely kept itself afloat. Like, I've never, it pays the bills, but it often has paid the bills, but nothing extra. So if anything went wrong or, something got wonky or an unexpected expense or yada yada, I would just be wiped out. So I've racked up a lot of debt in my learning, and I'm okay with that too. I don't regret any course I've ever taken, and I've finished most of them. But there are some I haven't finished, but that's okay. I got what I needed out of it. So when I started thinking about the money, I ran into imposter syndrome, and I was like, really? This old song? But yeah, it doesn't go away. So I remember this time when I was 30-ish, 30, I think, 31. I was working as a social worker. I'd finished my undergrad. I went to college late in life and graduated when I was 29. And got, working as in child protection. It was horrendous. I didn't know that then the toll it was taking on me. And I had this experience, like I came home from one horrible day and I remember laying down in bed and being like, what the fuck? What am I supposed to be doing? How am I going to get through this? I just went through all this schooling and ended up in bankruptcy and just all this shit to do this work, and now it's this is it. Like, this is horrible. And at that time it wasn't as horrible as it was gonna be, but I was recognizing, like, wow, this is this is a lot. This is a lot of work. I hadn't hit secondary PTSD at that point, or vicarious trauma. I think the diagnosis has changed. I hadn't hit that point yet. I hadn't gotten a diagnosis of, hey lady, you're fucked up because of your job yet. But I was just like, what am I here to do? You know, those questions that we ask, like, what's the point of all this struggle? Because I was struggling with money then too. It's been since I got here, November 2nd, 1966. It's been a long time, y'all. So I remember at that time having a now I know it was a mini channeling. And I wasn't completely unfamiliar to channeling and meditation at that point. I did call myself a Buddhist. I meditated, been meditating since I was 16, formally. And so it wasn't, but had never channeled. Now I know that's what was happening, but I just assumed it was insight or higher self guidance or whatever. I didn't do anything formally. So what came through was part of my purpose was to learn about money and then teach it. And then in that moment, I was like, that's the stupidest fucking thing I've ever heard in my life. Like, I can't believe I even wrote that on paper. But turns out that's a big part of it. In my human design incarnation cross, it is receiving information, going over it, spotting patterns, interfering with patterns, translating divine inspiration into practical knowledge, which is what I do. It's what I've always done. Chances are, when you're questioning your purpose, you're already doing it. You just don't define it that way. So when I really understood my incarnation cross, which if you want a session of your own, planethumandesign.com, that's my brief commercial. You can get a single session. We can go over that. But when I really understood it, I was like, oh, I always do that. You know, I'm the one who says what other people aren't saying, often to my regret. I hear people talking and I see other people not understanding them, and I'll translate. All that kind of stuff. So struggling directly with money and reading everything I could get my hands on and trying and failing repeatedly to understand even basic bookkeeping, to understand balancing my checkbook way back. Never could do it. My mom did it, or it didn't get done. And it was explained to me repeatedly, and it was like, it was like oil and water. Like, the information, I would hear it with my ear bones, but it never made sense. Sometimes it would make sense in the moment, but just like math class, as soon as I walked out of the class, it was gone. I just could not retain it. It's the one area I would say that I know I can still learn some more, but it takes such effort to learn it and retain it that I don't know where all that's going to end up. I'm pretty sure I got to outsource it now. I think I understand enough to know if that person's doing their job, but I don't know if this is ever going to be an area that I should be trusted in. Right? I know just enough to know that I don't know anything, and I don't need to be involved in the stock market unless I have a lot of help, because I'll do something not good. I won't make it. So then it's like, okay, our fighting this cultural imprint of you're not successful if you don't have a certain number in the bank. Like your internet business, your online business isn't successful if you take a job, or if you take out a loan, or if you're not making six figures after 1 year or 7 years. You know? Like that's the metric of success, which really sucks. And it's not a good metric. It is a metric, but it's not a measure of success. To me, the measure of success is how many people did you help? How many people benefited from their interaction with you? And you do have to be sustainable. Like you can't, I couldn't keep doing that forever, getting by on, by the skin of my teeth. I just, that's exhausting in a different way. So then, but then that's a piece of the imposter syndrome, right? Like, who am I to launch out there and say, I've got any answer at all to money when it's taken me so fucking long to even grasp the basics of it? And that's involved tons of books, tons of courses, tons of past life work or parallel life work, wherever you fall on the belief system. It's involved ancestry, lineage work, shadow transformation work with the Last Mask Society. Oh my God. It's a laundry list. So then imposter syndrome is just, if you look at it the right way, it can be a really good self-check. Oh, I've got imposter syndrome. I can't let everything. I don't have a money platform. I don't have a presence as someone who does stuff with money. Everything I've done before has been very low level, hardly advertised, and it's certainly not. I don't blog about it. All that stuff. And is that what I want to be known for? So there was that memory of being told I was here to slog my way through prosperity and then teach that, which I totally didn't believe. And then there's the piece of, well, I'm not a six figure. I'm not a, what's her name, Denise Duffield Thomas, who charges a couple thousand, I think, for her program. I'm at like $297, and the next round will go up to $997, and I'll probably add Force Reiki to that because it is dealing with the nervous system, and then I'll probably add some live quantum alignment system tapping because I've done some certification in that. So it will expand, and the price will go up, and you know what I'm saying? Like, it's this big package of stuff, and then you're stuck with a choice point, a crossroads. Crossroads has been on my mind because there's an area of my life that's at a crossroads, and it's either going to go or it's going to fold miserably or not grow past where it is, and that would be heartbreaking. But there's a crossroads, March 20th. I marked down the goddess Hecate. I'll probably pronounce it wrong, but doing some stuff at the crossroads, which there's a crossroads right next to my house. I'm like the third house down from a four-way stop. So I'm going to run out there and dump some stuff in the middle of the road. Hope none of my neighbors see me on March 20th. So it's this concept of crossroads, and it's like I'm at a crossroads. I have all these skills and all these programs. But to continue doing what I'm doing, I've got to narrow it down to one, maybe two, and that is a struggle. And then one of the ones that's like really lit up, you know how when you're sensitive to energy and you look at a bunch of options, one or more, aspects of it will sort of light up for you. That'll have more, it'll have a glitter to it or a feel to it. It catches your attention. You keep going back to it. Money is one of those. And so there's all those thoughts. And then there's this book and about mediumship. And then it was like there was a conversation in the Solution Salon about when you write a book, that's something you get known for. And is that something I want to be known for? I don't want to teach mediumship. I don't do just a mediumship session. If I'm doing a channeled session or coaching someone, if someone on the other side shows up, then I ask their permission, and if I get it, then we will go with a mediumship experience. But is that something I want to be known for? And yet I want that knowledge out there. So then, do I write a book about money, this history of money, these ways that when you involve the nervous system, which is the missing piece of law of attraction? I'm not the only one saying that. But as always, everybody's saying everything that's ever been said. Go ahead and say what you want, because it'll have your voice to it. So everybody else or other people saying it. But I don't see it emphasized enough that it's the body that does the manifesting. That tuning the nervous system is really what is the turning point for a lot of people who've done a lot of study and can't figure out why it's not still working. It's this missing connection between the physical and the physical, about being connected to the physical body. Well, if you're someone who runs around and doesn't want to be on this planet, does it make sense money's hard for you? If you call yourself a starseed and hate being physical and aren't taking steps to learn to love being physical, shit's going to be hard, because it's the body that does it. It's the energy. The body is that tuning fork. Your actual physical container is the magnet. And without that missing link, you're reading, studying, casting spells, chanting your ass off, standing on your left foot under the moon, turning in circles 3 times, and nothing changes, right? Because it's not about that. There's a lot more to it. So I share all this, and I don't have answers, so I didn't tell you a big long story and then to be like, and voila, here is what I am choosing to do, and off I go. Like, unfortunately, I don't have that answer yet. I'm actually going to go get some coaching, because it's unusual for me to stew on something and not come to an answer, and an answer's not coming. So maybe just time, but I'm going to go get some coaching for myself on it. Equine coaching, which I've never done, and I just stumbled across somebody making an offer for a free session. It's 3.5 hours away from me, but what the hell? Drives are good for you. So I don't have the answer to that, but I know that plenty of you struggle with these same things. Too many ideas, too many options, a fear of letting go of any of the ideas, because what if one day, someday, they do take off? Then what? What if I decide I do want to leave my full-time job? At this moment, I can't imagine that. But eventually, things will change. Before I die, things will change again. So then it's scarcity, right? Like I couldn't come up with another dozen programs to offer and rebuild an audience. And then what do you want to be known for? What do you want to be the go-to person for? People come to me because somebody will hear human design and they'll say, oh, Michelle Wolf does that. Or they'll hear something about Reiki and they'll say, oh, Michelle Wolf does forest Reiki. So those things happen because I'm known for them. So what do you want to be known for? And when you think, I really wish, deep down, I really wish I could be known for fill in the blank, chances are, as soon as you think a coherent thought around that, imposter syndrome is going to get real loud real quick, because it will make you change, and our systems don't like change. I heard Brad Yates say, and I'm paraphrasing, but self-sabotage is an act of self-love, basically. When you self-sabotage, your system's trying to keep you safe, right? We've talked about that on this show plenty. That self-sabotage is a pretty terrible way to label your system going into safety and protection mode. That's what it's programmed. It's programmed to keep you safe and protect you. That's not a bad thing. The only bad thing is when you haven't practiced awareness to the point that you recognize it's happening and you decide, is this a real sign to stop, or is this just my system's like, wow, you're about to do something different, and different equals deadly. Don't do it. Okay? Different equals deadly. Any different. Any kind of different. Like for some people, changing their laundry soap brand is different enough to cause anxiety. I have a friend who still resents Ben and Jerry for discontinuing Rainforest Crunch ice cream. Like, he can't let it go. That was like 20 years ago. We don't like different. Not liking different has kept us alive all this time. But in our current world, we have to welcome difference. We have to welcome change. And we have to learn the skills and tools that help our body adapt and go with the flow and not trip us when we're not looking. Excuse me for yawning. I hate that is the way. When energy's running strong, my body responds by yawning. Some people burp. I'm glad I'm not a burper. Some people like get stomach upset, but I yawn. So I'm not bored. I hate when it happens in sessions. I always have to tell the person, look, I'm not bored. Your energy is flowing so fast that my body's yawning. Sorry. So there's lots of energy around money, isn't there? And there's lots of energy around change and how much we don't want it. I'm aware of so much fear in my system lately, and some of that is the collective. I'm a projector, and so I'm tuned into the collective. A lot of people are. You don't have to be a projector to be tuned into the collective, but if you have a lot of white open space in your human design chart, you probably are aware of what's going on worldwide. So I'm just aware of a lot of fear. Some of it's the collectives and some of it's mine, and it's bogging down this decision-making process. And also, I don't have to make a decision today. It's an interesting place to be, to have to make a decision about programs based on energy and not money, not income. That's fun. That's actually a good point of progress, that I get to go through my programs and make that decision based on not what makes money or what could make money, but based on rather which one's right to put on the shelf for now and which one is right to bring forward and really amplify. And a lot of people want that book on mediumship. People have asked for that, and I do think we need more books out there on ethical mediumship and how to do it well so that you don't drain your energy and you let go of all the cultural nonsense about scary spirits or things attaching themselves to you. It's not a thing. I mean, it's a thing because we think it's a thing, but it's a made-up thing. That's a made-up story thing. And I do think there needs to be more stuff out there about that. So then the imposter syndrome is like, hey, you're about to do something different. That's different is deadly. What are you doing? Stop it. Go eat something. And I don't do that anymore. So it's like, well, suddenly I have to declutter a closet that's been cluttered for a couple of years, and all of a sudden now I have to, it's all these distractive things, all these distraction energies that your mind and body are sort of like, uh-oh, she's about to do something different. Let's create a ruckus. Let's find a crisis. Let's blow something up. Let's, cause some drama somewhere so that the change can't happen. But I already know that. I know it's happening. I know why it's happening. And so I'm about to do something big. 2023 is going to be a big year for loads of people. 2024 is going to be even bigger for a lot of people, me included. And 2023 and 2024 are going to have a lot of ruckus attached to them too. But you get to choose where you put your focus. So you can check in on the world and then go about your business and choosing what you want, choosing what you prefer. That's where law of attraction gets it right. We do have to look at the things and then choose again and again all day long what you're going to focus on. But we don't stick our heads in the sand. And when bad things are happening, inside or out, we acknowledge them and we feel the yuck of it. That's where popular law of attraction gets it wrong, real wrong. You cannot positive think yourself out of trauma. No, that's not a thing either. All right. So I know I've been rambling quite a bit. I'm letting you be in on my process because I know y'all can identify with it, and hopefully it helps normalize it, that this sort of spinning around in your head crazy making process of decisions. If you're familiar with human design, you always need to bring it back to the body, always. So you spin in your head for a while, you make your pro and con list, do all the things, and then you need to take the time to sit with your body to get the answers. And then if no answers still come, that's the point where you might want to go get a reading or get some coaching or get a human design reading or get a psychic reading or whatever. That at that point. But do your work first. Because a lot of times people will come to be in the gang with a question and they'll say, that's a question from the mind. And they won't even answer it. I mean, sometimes they'll answer it, but they'll say, this is a question from your mind and it's not a thing. And then they'll tell the person what they really need to know, which is almost never what they asked. Okay, so do your work first and let your mind have it say, like, we shouldn't do this because, and we have a pro and con list, and the con list is bigger, so, all that stuff. Do all that crazy stuff that human brains do. Then sit with it for a while and then see what comes. And what came to me in the sitting was, oh, you've got some imposter syndrome going on here because you don't look like people who sell the money courses. You don't look like, you don't live like, you don't wear the things and own the things that it's just nonsense. Imposter syndrome is just complete and utter garbage. When you write out what you're thinking, you look at that and you're like, that was written by a crazy person. Oh, fuck. I'm the one that wrote that. Like, I'm crazy. This is crazy. This is stupid. It's the same thing with forestry. I was like, yeah, but I don't want to be, this robe wearing forest fairy trippy person. I'm not that kind of person. And they were like, yeah, we know. And there's lots of people that aren't that and need this. And you have a tool that helps people. So basically, get the fuck over yourself and offer it. So I did. And it's kind of like that for all of us. The thing that we're meant to be offering next is a challenge. If it's not challenging, it's probably not going to be very satisfying. And I don't mean challenging as in hard struggle, have to force yourself. I mean, it makes you stretch. It makes you ask yourself the questions like, what's going on here? How come I'm having crazy imposter syndrome thoughts? What do I need to be aware of? That's my favorite Karen Curry Parker question ever. And you experience that directly in a quantum alignment tapping session, which, let me tell you, I never was going to take those courses, but I'm glad I did because it's not just tapping at all. It's way more complex and rich and layered. It's the difference between EFT tapping being a Happy Meal from McDonald's and a quantum alignment system with the tapping being a gourmet meal at the most expensive restaurant you can imagine, which clearly I don't go to them because I can't think of one. I can't think of the name of a horribly expensive restaurant. I need to remedy that. We could say Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. That's pretty pricey. But probably not as pricey as see, I don't even know. I don't know. Where do people go for horribly expensive meals? Now I need to go Google this. But anyway, so let me wrap this up. If this is happening to you, and I suspect it is because it's happening to a lot of people, because Saturn's in Pisces. Oh, also taken an intuitive astrology course. Yeah. So there'll be some more of that coming to you. Maybe I'll teach about that and money and mediumship and forest reiki and human design and how it all fits together. Does it all fit together? Maybe. Yes, I was going to wrap this up. So it's a little hard to wrap up when things are still messy. If you're in the messy middle and you're experiencing things that I've described yourself, do that where you go ahead and write it out, say it out, speak it out, get somebody to listen to you, talk it out like you're listening to me talk it out, really. And that they won't, tell them ahead of time, do not offer me any opinions or advice. I am just talking to talk it out and let inspiration come through, right? Our channeling comes in through the back door. When we're so tired or upset, it slips in. Or when we're just rambling, talking, exploring, we make space for the answers to come. And then if no answers come, go get a session with somebody, whether that's me or somebody else. I've got a long list of people that you can go see for human design. Nina Berry is excellent, excellent. And that's ninacb.com. Heather Westmoreland is offering a group on embodiment, what she's calling vertical consciousness, which is super cool. HeatherWestmoreland.com. Pretty simple. We make it easy for y'all to find us. My website's thatmichellewolf.com/Forest Reiki or planethumandesign.com. But really, I'm posting the most recent stuff, as always, on Facebook. So, when you've done all that, I want you to remember that imposter syndrome is not a sign for you to not do your thing. The only indicator it is that you do need to evaluate. Are you ready? Do you know enough? Which means just a little bit more than the people you're going to be teaching. You don't have to know everything. You don't have to be an expert. You don't have to have a degree in finance. You don't have to do any of that stuff. You just have to be a little bit further ahead than the people who are behind you asking questions that now you can answer. All right, so imposter syndrome is letting you know that you're close to a big change for yourself. You're so close that your mind and body have gotten the signal that you're about to do something and they're trying to stop you from it. And that's okay too. We don't fight with it. We just say, oh my gosh, I'm that close that imposter syndrome has reared its little ugly head and is, getting in my way right now. That's a good thing. Oh, my internal dialogue has gotten all crazy and shit. That's a good thing. That's a good sign. That's how close I am to doing something big, to rounding the corner, of tangibly manifesting things that I've been working on for years. So take imposter syndrome as a sign of success. Take your crazy thoughts as an indicator of your progress. These are good things. And now go work with them and put your stuff out in the world. Because even if you only change one life, isn't that worth it? To me, that's always my measurement. Has one life been changed? Yeah. At this point, all the careers I've done since my first career at 18 as an emergency medical technician, has one life been changed? Thousands. Thousands of lives in different capacities, in different roles, and that's just the lives that I know about. You've changed hundreds, if not thousands, of lives already that you probably don't even know about. Something you said, something you did, something you modeled for someone but they never told you, something you did visibly that inspired someone to take a chance on life. You'll never know who those people were, and you don't need to know. You just need to keep moving forward and answer the call of what's calling you and give yourself a big fatty gold star if you're all smudged up with him. If your insides are sticky because of imposter syndrome, give yourself a gold star for that. People who aren't growing and changing and pushing the boundaries of what's possible for them and humanity, they don't get imposter syndrome. And that's sad. That makes me sad for them. If you've never experienced imposter syndrome, and I know that anyone listening to this podcast has experienced it, so I feel comfortable saying this. But if you know someone who's never experienced it, I feel sad for that person. Because that means they've never overcome it. They've never had the growth. They've never hit that growth edge and moved past it. Being the alchemist and transforming all the stuff that rises up against you when you are adding light to the world, right? So, Yay for imposter syndrome. Yay for crazy thinking. Yay for a brain that is so invested in keeping us alive. These are all good things to be grateful for. All right, now if you want in on the money course, you only have another week to do it. The last day to enroll is March 25th, and we start April 1st. It starts, this is the commercial part, so if you're done listening, bye bye now, take care then, love you much, see you later, think less, feel more. So the commercial for Train Your Body to Wealth is it's a 40-day program. It's $297. This is the last round. It will be $297. It'll be $997 in the fall. I'm not doing shit over the summer. I'm not doing nothing this summer. I'm going to take myself to Savannah more often. But so how it works is you come to a 3-hour workshop. There's 2 books you have to read, and you should read these anyway. The Body of Money, Gayle Coleman, Gayle Colman, or is it Coleman? Man. Just Google it. And then Taming Your Gremlin by Rick Carson. Those are 2 required books. The Alter Ego Effect by Todd Herman is optional, but definitely recommended. We do a 3-hour workshop where we talk about all things nervous system and all the stuff that gets in your way about money and all the bullshit that gets tangled up with law of attraction. We straighten all that shit out. And then starting April 2nd, we do 38 days of every day I leave you a message or meditation or something. Sometimes it's the one command for wealth. Sometimes it's I wonder questions. Sometimes it's a little meditation. Sometimes it's a channeling. And we do that all 38 days. And once a day, you have to celebrate something. It could be money related. That's the preference, but people don't always stick to that, and that's okay. The trick is to start looking. Oh, do I want to celebrate this? How about that? Do I want to celebrate all these things? Do I want to celebrate that I live in a house with running water and I have a cupboard full of toilet paper? That's something to celebrate, right? 2 years ago, we were like, oh, God, what are we going to do about toilet paper? So you celebrate something every single day. And what happens is, then you want to quit. Then you get mad at all the people who are suddenly making money and you're not. Or you get annoyed by all the happiness going on in the Voxer group. Like, it starts to grind on you. And that is you changing. And that is good. The more crabby somebody gets, the more I celebrate. I'm like, you go on to be irritated by all this joy. Ew, all this happiness. Yuck. You know, it's like our system is like, all this happiness is hard. It's hard for me to take being around all this happiness. Nobody's going to complain. You're actually not allowed to complain in this group. If you want to complain, and sometimes we need to, you go do that somewhere else. It's a celebration zone. All right, and then on the 39th day, we get together and we wrap it all up, and we put in a plan to keep it going. And the people who have kept it going are doing great, and the people who haven't notice that, oh my gosh, when the group ended, I don't feel so good anymore. I mean, even just in that short a period of time of celebrating, you start to feel better because your brain is looking for the magic. It's just your brain's reticular activating system. It's not a mystery. It's a physical thing inside your own head. We know it's there, and now we know how to work with it. We know how to turn the system on and keep it going. And when you do that, you get aggravated, and that's the point where people quit. But that's the point where you can employ all this daily practice and some nervous system tools that anybody can find on YouTube. They're super simple, but you get your hand held for 40 days straight of do it every day, every day, every day. Notice that you're pissed off. Notice that you're feeling whiny, that you can't find something, or you've gone into confusion. Notice, and money increases. Awareness increases. the better thing than getting some more cash, and who doesn't love more cash, is that you start to hear your judgment. You start to feel yourself actively resisting the thing you say you want. I want to be happy. No, you don't. Or you'd be happy. Being surrounded by happiness wouldn't aggravate you, right? It's all good stuff. So that's what we do for 40 days. And you can catch it for $2.97 if you get in before March 25th. Less than a week. And then I'll offer it again out in the fall. Probably late summer, maybe August, September, somewhere around in there. I have more energy in the fall, so I like offering stuff around then. All right, my dears. Embrace your imposter syndrome. Embrace your cranky crabbiness. Embrace your confusion. Ask. Oh, damn it. I got sidetracked. Oh, well. The question I love from Karen is, what needs to be healed, what needs to be healed, released, aligned, and brought to my awareness for me to fill in the blank? I write one of those in my journal by my bed every single night. I just write that question, and I don't answer it. I sleep on it, and then in my sleep, the answer usually comes. Well, if somebody didn't stick around for the commercial, they didn't get that. What needs to be healed, released, aligned, and brought to my awareness for me to? And that question is all credit to Karen Curry Parker. It's a life changer. Now I'm done. Love you so much. Until we talk again, think less, feel more. If you want to know about the course, come find me on Facebook, facebook.com/Michelle Wolf 11. Talk to you later.